Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare 3 In-Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the M16A4. What was once a champion among weapons is now just a big steaming pile of regret and nostalgia. I'm going to be honest with you up front, I don't really like the M16A4, or I don't like it at all, but I'm going to try very, very hard to give you all an unbiased weapons review, or as unbiased as is possible. First things first, the M16 does 45 to 25 damage, just kind of depending on how far away you are from the target. This puts its damage at higher than medium, but lower than high, so I'm going to classify it as medium-high. However, one thing that doesn't affect very much is the shots to kill. The shots to kill is more like a medium assault rifle. It's going to take 3 shots at any range, or 4 shots if you're kind of far away. Not a big difference there, which is pretty good. That means its time to kill, ideally, would be very consistent. Or if you're going for headshots, that's between 2 and 3 shots to kill, or 1 burst if you're very, very accurate. Today we have 2 rates of fire for the M16. The first rate of fire is 780, and that's the RPM per burst, or the speed at which the first 3 bullets comes out of your assault rifle. And we have the RPM total, or the RPM average, which is the entire RPM for one magazine if you include the time between bursts. So this, depending on how you look at it, the M16 either has one of the highest or one of the lowest rates of fire. These rates of fire affect your time to kill calculations in a kind of crazy way, because when you factor in the damage and the fact that it's only a 3-round burst weapon, depending on your range from the target, how many rounds of the burst you hit, and a couple of other factors, your time to kill kind of goes AWOL. If you're close range and all of your bursts hit, you can kill somebody very, very quickly with the M16. However, if you're far away, or if they're sidestepping you and you miss a burst or 2, your time to kill goes to absolute crap, like 3-4 times that of a normal weapon. So your time to kill calculations are all over the place with this weapon, and I don't even want to say high or low because it's too irregular. Now, the range on the M16 is nothing special. The damage drop starts at 25 meters, and the damage drop ends, or the point at which your bullets are doing their minimum 25 damage, is at 51 meters. This is pretty common with assault rifles, nothing particularly special, and over the course of the range you're only losing 1 shot. For other weapons that wouldn't make much difference, but for the M16 that's going to be a whole new burst. I'm going to classify the M16 as having low recoil, but recoil that hates me. I know that the recoil is low. It's not as low as the Type 95, though it's better than pretty much every other assault rifle, but I just can't seem to make it work. There's something about burst weapons that I have a hard time with, especially if the person that I'm shooting at is running side to side instead of straight at me. I have a very difficult time making sure that all 3 bursts hit, because they're moving and the spacing gets me screwed up and I miss a lot. So I'm going to say the recoil here is low, but I don't like it. One place the M16 absolutely shines is in reload time. The reload animation, or what I would call the normal reload, is just a little bit over 2 seconds, depending on if you have bullets in the magazine or not, and the reload cancel time is incredibly fast at 1.10 seconds. There aren't many other assault rifles that compete with the M16 on reload time. And like all the other assault rifles, it shares the same big 3 stats in common. Your run speed is 90%, your aim down sights time is 300 milliseconds, and your aim down sights zoom, at least on the iron sights for the M16, which I would also recommend not using because they're kind of on the ugly side of things, is 1.35x. At the end of this weapon review, I have to make my first recommendation that you just don't use the M16. I personally don't like this weapon. Statistically, it's inferior to the Type 95 and a lot of other assault rifles, and it's very, very weak. My personal experiences with this weapon is that it's even weaker than the statistics indicate, so I really don't like the M16. I wouldn't really recommend anybody using it, and I'm sorry if you're offended because this is your favorite weapon. This weapon hates me, and I have a very difficult time killing anything. Even in hardcore team deathmatch, it's outclassed by pretty much every other assault rifle and most of the submachine guns. The setup that I like the best on the M16 is I run Specialist Package for my kill streaks, so I try and get all of the perks, which I know I'm going to need, and all the proficiencies, which I'm also going to need. I run Kick to start out with, and a Thermal Sight. And believe me, I went through a lot of setups to get here, but I like the Thermal Sight the best. I like it better than Red Dot, I like it better than ACOG, I like it better than Red Dot Rapid Fire, Silencer, all these things, because the Thermal Sight seems to be the most accurate sight. I can click in and stabilize it, which is nice, and it kind of forces you to use the M16 in a way that the M16 is actually a decent weapon. The M16 is really a 2-hit-or-quit weapon, and you use it from a distance, or at medium range, it's a 1-shot burst kill weapon if you can get all your shots to kill. With the Red Dot and some of the other classes that encourages you to rush and spray and do these other kind of tactics, M16 with Thermal Sight kind of forces you to hang back, use it in burst, use it as an accuracy rifle to drop people from a distance. So I'm going to say, if you're going to use the M16, use it with a Thermal Sight. Well guys, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful, and if the M16 is your favorite weapon, because there's obviously a pretty good M16 fan club out there, I hope that you forgive me for bashing on it. In the next episode, we're going to be covering the MK14, which I happen to like a lot better, and you're going to be seeing better gameplay in. Drifter, not quite, not Drifter out just yet. I have a little bonus for you today. I've got links here at the end of the video that's going to link you to a dual commentary that I did with COD Chameleon about meeting my wife, why I love my wife, how we got married, and other things, because he runs a show called Girls, 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 where he interviews other commentators about their love lives. So I told him about my wife, and there's also a link to Consersion's YouTube channel. He designed the YouTube background that I have right now, and he designs for other people. If you want a background for your YouTube channel, you should go and hit him up. He's a pretty reasonable guy that works fast. Now, Drifter out.